Boop. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, January the 11th, 2001. And today's daily Bible reading come to us from Psalm 69, 1 through 5, and then 30 through 36. Genesis 17, 1 through 13, and then Romans 4, 1 through 12. And I'm going to look at Romans. Please forgive any loud bangs you hear. They're doing some rather heavy excavating outside. And I think they may have just damaged our fiber optic line. So I'm not really sure. If this doesn't show up on YouTube later, sorry. We'll get it up there as soon as we can because we currently don't have a connection. Anyway, though, I'm going to look at Romans 4, 1 through 12, especially the line where it says, "Blessed are those whose iniquities are forgiven." And it caught my attention today because, and I think I've joked about this before probably, but I see a lot of these like just decorative things that say blessed on it or favored, right? I saw a car the other day and it had a big, vanity frame like plate on the front that said favored. And I thought that's interesting. I think often we get caught up in the wrong sort of blessings, right? And there are lots of different ways that you can be blessed. And like, granted, if I guess it is a blessing to have wealth and things like that, but that's not the kind of blessings really that the Bible seems to be that focused on, especially in the New Testament and the Gospels and Paul's letters, which Romans is one of Paul's letters. And we seem to get focused on the wrong sort of blessings. We get focused on like the temporal, corporeal, material blessings, we're blessed to have things, as if our comfort and material wealth are, I guess, maybe we look at it as that these things are proof of our status as blessed people. So to be blessed, you must have those things. If you don't have all those things, you're obviously not blessed. And so, or you might not even really know that you've been blessed by God, but you think maybe, well, I don't know that I am, but I can at least look like I am. So maybe then that creates a thing where you go out and you get the shiny things so that other people will think you're blessed. You're driving down this street in a car you really can't afford and shouldn't be driving. And people look at you and go, well, they're blessed, right? They're in debt up to their eyeballs. They must be blessed. So you might not know you're blessed, but at least you can look like you're blessed. And that's not, interestingly enough, what we're talking about here in Romans. It gives you a list of what a blessed person looks like. Blessed to be forgiven, right? So, blessed are those whose iniquities are forgiven, right? It's a blessing to be forgiven of your iniquities. And that's not really a word we use much anymore. So, that's the thing. Like, your iniquities are either forgiven or they're not. You can't just merely have the appearance of that. I guess you can walk around and look like, like God has forgiven you when you've never really asked for forgiveness, but at the end of the day, they're either forgiven by God or they're not. And you have, if you've never approached him and sought forgiveness and repented of those iniquitous things you do, it doesn't matter how much blessed paraphernalia you put on, you're not really going to cover that up. Goes on to say that to be blessed is to have your sins covered. That's not something you can cover up with bling. It doesn't matter. Like I said, if you go out and get a big t-shirt that said blessed and put that on, it's not going to cover up sins that you haven't sought forgiveness for. To be blessed is to have God reckon the sins, not reckon the sins against you. So once again, this verse 7 says, "Blessed are those whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one against whom the Lord will not reckon sin." And that is, we're told, is God's response to faith, to belief. It's not God's response to your worth, right? That's not God saying, oh, yeah, this person's just so automatically awesome that, I'm going to reckon that to them as righteousness. No, it's because you know that you don't have much hope except for God. That's the whole idea of this, is that God reckoned Abraham's belief to him as righteousness because Abraham believed. Abraham didn't have any worth. He didn't have anything that made him more worthwhile to God than anybody else. It's just that God approached him and he believed. And so we get caught up in the wrong kind of blessings, in the wrong kind of blessedness. If you've sought after God for forgiveness and trusted in him to give that to you, that's a blessing. So that's the DBR for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully this will show up on YouTube later on if we get our internet connection back. But if not, it'll be on IGTV and we'll get it up on our other formats as soon as possible. So we'll be back tomorrow. Have a good day. Boop.